All right, this is my Pentax ME, not the ME Super, not the K1000. It is the Pentax ME. Compared to the K1000, it is smaller and, of course, lighter because of that. I really liked how the design is not bulky like the K1000, and the light meter is an electronic light meter. So when you look inside the viewfinder here, you're going to see on the left hand side these dots that show you whether they're overexposed, underexposed, whereas the K1000, for example, has like a little gas gauge needle that shows you whether you're overexposed or underexposed. This one, because it's an electronic viewfinder, you're gonna need batteries. So the batteries, all I do is just unscrew that, and it takes a couple of those little circular batteries. I'll put in the description the actual number, but right next to it is the tripod mount. And then to rewind the film, you gotta press that down, and then over here, you just lift that, and then you start winding backwards. So it will not wind backwards unless you press that button there. Now that one I had not had a reason to open. I have opened this whole bottom part recently, undoing these 3 screws right here, because the shutter lever, this one, it's not locking on me now, but it did. And so I just had to like watch the gears as I kept pulling to see which one wasn't moving and that I thought should have to move. I know nothing about gears on old cameras, so I just had to figure it out myself. The first time this camera locked up on me, I sent it to Eric Henderson in Tennessee, and he actually like sealed some places where I was getting light leaks, and he oiled some of my gears too. But it's just from what I'm finding out online, that Pentax, it's a common problem to have the shutter lock up on you. So I couldn't afford to send it to him again to get the shutter fixed, so I just had to poke around at the bottom and see if I could try to do anything. So yeah, I actually had to move this whole silver panel that comes off and just watch the gears as I tried maneuvering it and see what got stuck. So that's a forewarning on some of these Pentax cameras that they do lock up. But let me show you around. So I just showed you the bottom. Nothing on the sides except if I pull this up, it'll open from the left, and that's where you load your film. The thing about this 35mm film that you're going to be loading in here is that I have found, at least on my Pentax, is that there's no designated slot here. You just have to find a slot to put your film in. And then if I find that if I don't like really shove the end of the film in there, it won't catch when I'm doing this. It won't catch. Whereas it twirls around, or it will for a little bit, and then it'll release, and then the film will just go right back into its canister or loosen up, and then I don't know how I'm going to fix it after that. So what I have to do is just kind of shove it all the way down there, which is a pain for the people who are developing my film and knowing where to cut it because of that. But I just found that that's another sticky thing that happens. Besides the shutter getting stuck, the film needs to really be shoved down in there in order for it to stay and not retract on itself. So that's the side. And then at the top here, I don't have a flash, and you could hook it up to flash. It's got a little shoe mount too. But I mean, I don't know if I'm going to buy a flash for this one. But over here we'll start on the left-hand side. So we've got different kinds of exposure. This ASA is supposed to be your ISO. I normally shoot with Kodak Gold 200, but to move it, you just lift it up a little, and then that's how you change the ISO. And I better change it back before I forget. And then this side, you just kind of pull up and then move it around. So wait, pull up for ISO, just move it around for everything else. No, there we go, 200. So if we move on to the other side, then you've got when I load film, I usually have the lens cap on, right? So if I do, and I have it on auto, what's gonna happen is that because the camera thinks, the light meter thinks that it's dark, it's going to hold the shutter open a lot longer than you want it to. So when you load the film, move it over to 1000 or 100 speed, and then it'll just take it automatically and you don't have to worry about the shutter locking. It's another thing that happens is that it might lock up when that happens. And then, bulbs, hold it there for as long as you need to. And then lock for when, now I'm pressing down on this. You can still move it even without pressing down, but you're supposed to press down on the white button to move it. Lock for when you put it in like your camera bag or something like that. And see, I can't do anything. So go back to auto as your default, and then in here it'll tell you how many exposures you have left. But let me take off the lens cap. It's a pretty standard lens cap, so if I lost this, I think I can buy another one, no big deal. And then this is the lens that came with it. I bought it off of eBay as a complete set. So the body and the lens, and I have it set to Sunny 16 right there. But the glass was pretty nice. I didn't have any problems with it. I rarely have to clean it. It's pretty smooth in terms of like trying to focus or trying to change your lens right here. It's pretty smooth with the focusing. I got lucky here. There's no grinding, there's no sand, there's nothing in there. It's really, really smooth. And it's the only lens I have with it. Now in the front, there is a timer. You pull the lever down, or you hit the shutter, then you pull the lever down or something like that. I don't know. I was reading instructions, and the thing that came up with the instructions is that with old cameras, if you use the timer, it can sometimes lock up your shutter. And that's the last thing I need with my Pentax, is to lock up the shutter. So I have not used the timer. I'm just scared to, because I think it's going to break my camera and I'm going to have to try figuring out how to fix it myself. So I haven't tried using the timer. I do want to attach like a cable shutter release so I can try to do selfies or use the bulb mode. So that's one thing I haven't done yet. But everything else is pretty smooth. It's not that quiet. Like, people are going to hear you when they hear this. And the little gears cranking there. But they're also going to look at you like, what is that? What kind of camera is that? Is that a toy? It's not something you're going to want to use in really quiet places, but places where a little sound like that won't make a big deal. I've taken it too. So you've got also straps here. You can attach, or attachments for your straps. If it didn't come with yours, because whatever you buy on eBay is what you get, you can easily put like a key ring or something like that, or you can buy these. I got a smaller strap from, I think I got this from Freestyle Photo. It's smaller than those DSLR straps, because I find those a little overkill for such a small camera. I mean, in comparison, look how I feel like it's size appropriate when you get these smaller straps. They can hurt a little, especially if it doesn't have normally it comes with like velvet on those DSLR straps. I've seen people use leather straps. It's really up to you and your preference, what you want. This is pretty soft. I don't have a problem with it around my neck. I mean, any camera around your neck all day long is gonna hurt, no matter what the kind of padding you got going on. But this is my Pentax ME and some of the features that come with it. And for the most part, I'm really happy with it. It's just that whole locking up feature that keeps happening every now and again, and me trying to figure out how to unlock the shutter. All right, so that is the Pentax ME.